Hello and welcome back to Top10List.org, where you get a world of knowledge in 10 simple points. Today's episode is going to be about top 10 best book series. That's right, get out your reading glasses and let's dive at number 10 with the His Dark Materials series. It's a trilogy of dark fantasy tales of which comprises the Golden Compass, the Sublet Knife, and the Amber Spyglass. The opening of the tale is a coming of age of two children, Lyra, Bellequa, and Will Perry. This tale takes the reader to the backdrop of epic events through a series of parallel universes. The story involves mostly of armored bears, witches, psychics, philosophy, theology, and spirituality. Number 9, the well-known Twilight Saga series. Even the forbidden fruits sometimes taste sweet. This was what was depicted by Stephenie Meyer in her Twilight Saga series, that even vampire or evils cannot always do harm to you. The story is full of romance between a normal mortal girl named Bella and an immortal blood-sucking vampire named Edward Cullen. The story, with its first book, attracted a large number of readers, but gradually, with the breaking dawn, things got stretchy. It revolves around the same humdrum: love, getting married, having a baby, but the only difference is that it lacks a union between a vampire and a human. Apart from that, everything seems the same, although it's a book for teenagers below 17, but later when you grow up, it will lose its charm gradually. Number 8 is The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Well, it's a high school kid named Greg and his diary, which is basically a journal to him, and his journal talks of high school encounters with bullies, sitting in the basketball grounds, and of course, last but not least, the cheese touch theory. His journal talks of Halloween parties, pranks, which at times embarrasses friends and family, and the only crux of the book is to portray that life in middle school is tough, especially for scraggy kids like Greg, who are stuck in the middle of parents' expectations, school plays, chases, and his own recognition as an individual. At number 7 is The Malgudi Days. This is a book which portrays on the dull and daily humdrum of usual lives into extraordinary lives. This book might not sound like the fast food type of book, but it is a book that takes back to lives when the Indian society was typically weaved by a joint family system. Social taboos, customs, and each story so full of humanity that it will invoke within you those days which you have forgotten in this deplorable rat chase called life. These series of books takes us back to an old transforming India, a talk of real life, real daily challenges, and real human actions, but yes, the plot itself is imaginary. Number 6 is the Shiva Trilogy. It is a history that goes down to, yet again, Indian literature, which is of course a trend changer. Amish, the author, took tales and wrote it mostly about Indians growing with and giving his tales earthly, logical, twisted, added with some well-researched myths of Indian gods and goddesses, and it helps us make us believe that Shiva, the god, also lived a life like mortals. While portraying the character Shiva in his book, he completely ripped off the god part and gave him flesh and blood to make the readers think that he was alive. It is a story of battle between the power of beliefs and the Nelkanth versus the belief in the Meluha's systematic governance, a battle between good and evils. However, Shiva, like Harry Potter, has not gained global popularity, which could not be a comparative factor. However, the series has a complete different taste of the characters, and they each keep finding their own place. Number 5, a favorite of mine on the list, is the Chronicles of Narnia, a book which reflects the struggle between the forces of good and evil. The book is full of fantasy, fun, imaginary characters like the lion and its main center of attention. The author carries us to a world of evil and good, and it is a book which every child wants to read in his or her childhood days. At number 4, the book which one of my favorite television shows is based on is The Game of Thrones. It is a fantasy series, and the characters in this fantasy's literature may be a bit baffling, all set in the world very akin to medieval history. The complete story is a mix and match of horror, because death is the commonplace in this book. The story has and can be seen from such perspective, and each character in the book keeps giving a different taste, a taste that will keep on lingering in the reader's mind. Game of Thrones writer has a very much so wittingly made the book full of fantasy and realistic nothings short of mind and numbingly beautiful. Number 3, The World of the Hunger Games Trilogy. A book with a dystopian picture of love, poverty, kindness. A book which strikes a chord of emotions as if you are on a ride. The Hunger Games series is the main attraction among young readers today. The ambiance created by this book is so well crafted, it is as if one is literally dwelling in the world of fantasy. Katniss, a strong protagonist in this trilogy, shows how she solves her one problem and takes charge of her own life, struggling with her emotions between two boys. Katniss is a strong protagonist which no reader will want to forget. She herself is in this game as a hunter. Each year, the 12 districts send 2 representatives, a girl and a boy, to participate in the Hunger Games until the loved one will be chosen for each district. Number 2 is the Harry Potter series. Now, this book series became a phenomenon amongst children and adults universally. It has held a different place in the hearts of children since its very creation. The characters added by J.K. Rowling are almost the same to any other ordinary human being and is given a realistic look and features, and can be pictured very well how Harry looked like. J.K. Rowling's brilliance of such combinations like magic, love, pain, revenge, friendship, and loss of loved ones and sacrifice doesn't fall short in the Harry Potter series. The writer has very well weaved every detail such that it suits the mystically created wizardly land at its best. The moral lessons are even more subtly cloaked with magic and with mystery enough to instill in the hearts and minds of young readers. Number 1 on our list, and I have to agree with the judges on this one, last but not least, we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, this series is a universal and all-embracing tale of fantasy and myth. It is a book that is bridled by the world of magic. Tolkien, the writer, very descriptively narrates beautifully depicting Middle-earth and the journey that the fellowships take. Not only the book itself is full of magic and fantasy, but also the dead language used by the author itself carries the readers to a far-away land to feel its avatar. It has also the subtle message portrayed by the author that how the power of magic was replaced by human dominance. Tolkien makes this Lord of the Rings series a universal and all-embracing tale and magnificent, efficient craft done by him to incorporate an epic tale of love, friendship, heroism, a just celebrated classic of all genres, and by far my personal favorite book of all time. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Top 10. If you find yourself picking up one of these book series soon, don't forget to click subscribe below and join us again for another episode of Top 10 List.